You are listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, a member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. We release a new episode every Tuesday. Come join us for a new recipe and a good story.
This episode of Three Kitchens Podcast is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Even if you're a busy business owner with more meetings than hours in a day, you are calm and collected when your group benefit plan is taken care of by Alberta Blue Cross.
Your employees can manage their own health, dental, life, and disability coverage online, anytime, on any device, making it easier for them and for you.
To learn more and explore your options, head to av.bluecross.ca.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Three Kitchens Podcast. I am your host, Erin Walker, and I am joined by the beautiful and talented Heather Dyer and Sarah Soma Sundaram.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
You can say that because nobody can see us.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
In our pajamas.
It's okay.
Bedhead. Look at what's happening.
Our pictures tell it all. We can really shine up nice.
Yes.
When there's Photoshop involved.
Thank you, filters.
Yes.
You. Anyway, how are you ladies today?
Good.
Good.
I really like my commute to work.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a
Get out of bed, sit in a different chair.
Yeah, I move from my bed to my chair. It's pretty fantastic. And then I get to say hi to you.
Mm-hmm. I was going to tell you guys this little story that I heard a while ago. So I listened to this podcast called The Gilded Gentleman, and it's hosted by an historian who specializes in New York in the Gilded Age. And of course, I don't know exactly what those years were, but think like late 1800s, early 1900s. They called it the Gilded Age because it was like super fancy. These people with the money, the Astors, the Rockefellers, all those folks with like too much money and very over the top spending, like ridiculous parties, all that kind of stuff. You had
big statues and fountains in their house.
People with money to blow and burn through, and that have a reputation, that want to
maintain. Yes. So there was a story I listened to on one of the episodes, and it's about this dinner party that one of these millionaires threw. And it was in 1903. This guy named C.K.G. Billings, he's fancy. He's fancy when he just goes by his three initials. His name is actually Cornelius Kingsley Garrison Billings. So if that were your name, you'd probably go by your initial too. Anyway, I believe he owned like an oil company or something, but he was a real horse racing fanatic. And so he wanted to have this big fancy dinner party. So he rented a ballroom in Manhattan, and he brought in horses for the guests to sit on while they had their dinner.
What?
Is this the smartest move? I don't think so, because we've seen them poop.
So I'm guessing, I don't know. I can't remember if on The Gilded Gentleman he described that level of detail, but I would think there was some kind of
poop catcher.
Pooper scooper.
Like pooper scooper, or like maybe they put something on the horses to, I don't know, but it would be smelly, you would think, to be eating with horses, even if they're not pooping.
Where do you put your plate if they're like moving around? Like, my mane has fallen into the mane. Oh my. Apparently we're British now too.
Oh dear. Okay. There's a Fifth Avenue restaurant called Sherry's that had a ballroom. And guests wore black and white evening wear.
Dear Lord.
And they didn't know until they got there that they would be sitting on horses.
Those poor women with those big, big dresses. Whatever's ladylike.
Yeah, and would they have been sitting side saddle? I don't know. Yeah, it was decorated with fake turf plants, painted scenery that looked like the English countryside. And instead of tables, the guests mounted live horses, which came up in the freight elevator.
They went up an elevator? I was picturing a main floor ballroom for this. Sorry.
And apparently there were table trays mounted on the saddles.
There's your answer.
Yeah. Would you like to know what they ate, or do you?
Yes, of course.
All right.
We're there with them. I'm in my formal gown right now, a little bit pissed off that I have to sit on a horse, but I want to know what I'm going to eat.
Okay, so they had caviar and turtle soup.
In the shell? In the shell, I hope.
Know, but how? Possibly. It would be very precarious on the horse. What if the horse shifted its weight? Well,
what if the turtle shell didn't have a flat bottom and it kind of was wobbly?
Well, yeah, would it? Yeah. Okay, they also had, I don't know how to pronounce this in French, but truite. I don't know how to, I should look that up. Au bleu, which is trout. I don't know how to say trout in French. It's
blue trout?
Truite au bleu, which it says you cook the trout while it is super fresh and you dunk it in vinegar, which results in a blue-purple colored fish. Mm-hmm. Served with a green herb sauce, it would have been visually striking, if hard to eat on horseback. Well, I mean, anything's going to be hard to eat on horseback.
Did they have a trout pond? Did you get to fish your trout
with a fishing
from your
rod?
Horse? And then it was cooked fresh and you dipped it in vinegar and voila!
Voila. I like how your Julia Child voice just came out.
Is that what that was? Oh.
I don't think so, but there have been other stories. The Gilded Gentleman, if you're interested in this sort of time period and the weird, wacky foods and stuff, he's got some great episodes where they go into detail about food and recipe books and chefs and really interesting stuff. And they did have shit like that, like a pond in the middle that they built in the middle of their dining room with swans swimming in it while you're eating, and like all kinds of weird, wacky stuff.
Oh, good grief.
Okay, they also had rack a lamb, guinea hens, asparagus with hollandaise, flambéed peaches. Oh, flambé. I hope that wasn't burning on the back of the horse. Like, that sounds scary.
God.
They also, of course, had champagne, scotch, and soda. So they were probably drunk by the time they got off.
Man, that's a long fall from your bar stool.
Well, you know what? They say when you fall off a horse when you're drunk. They say.
What do they say, Sarah?
You probably would land a little better because your body's all relaxed.
I think you'd still hurt yourself.
Pretty sure you're still like cracking your skull.
Nobody said that. I'm just saying that. And I just blamed it on they.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So there were 32 attendees. So you can picture this big ballroom, 32 horses with people on them.
That's a lot of poop.
Attendees also received sterling silver horseshoes inscribed with the menu as a souvenir.
Shut up. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Did somebody find one of these sterling silver, like there would be 32 of them. They never
Apparently
surfaced.
They've never surfaced. Somewhere somebody's got one in a box from their relative who kept it.
And doesn't
Someone's
even know
playing
what it is,
horseshoes with
probably.
and doesn't even know.
Yeah. It would be quite a thing to travel back in time and be fancy enough and cool enough. You have to be cool enough.
You'd have to be rich.
Yeah, where's the invitation to the parties of today that we're not getting invited to, ladies?
Who's having those parties?
People have parties and we're not being invited? Well, I'm bummed now.
Sorry. Okay, so then, may I? You have been invited to Erin's backyard party.
Yay!
Less horses.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well,
I'm not
come
going to
on.
bring the horses in for you, but I'm going to try and fancy it up. And let's have a little backyard
soiree.
Backyard.
I'm in.
Under the apple, in the orchard.
Oh,
in my orchard.
Next to the trampoline, which has taken over the orchard.
With some delicate lighting via Christmas lights.
Oh, very
that
nice.
I shall string up in my tree.
Oh,
and
that sounds nice.
We're going to have something a little fancier.
Bring it. Can it compare to a horse? No.
No horses at this fancy soiree.
Okay.
But I think this is a fancy little appy that maybe we can enjoy with some bubblies. I'm going to try and make something from the garden. The zucchinis in my backyard are growing. I think they're 4 feet tall now. It is ridiculous.
Nice.
Gigantic. And while I like to cook with zucchini all the time, I've heard that you can cook with a zucchini blossom or that bright yellow flower that zucchinis have.
I've always wanted to try them, but I've never
wanted to try them. Super curious about it.
Well, guess what, Heather? You're about to try it.
Now's my chance. I'm good enough for this party. I'm cool enough to be invited to this party.
It's going to be a party, or it's going to be a whole bunch of me swearing over a hot pot of oil.
Oh,
Either
no.
or, it's going to be
Is that how
fun.
you make them? I didn't know they
So,
were fried. I think I didn't realize
they are
exactly.
fried.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to make stuffed zucchini blossoms, and I found this recipe from our friend Chef Dennis Litley. He has a recipe for stuffed zucchini blossoms.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey,
Hello,
Dennis.
Chef Dennis.
So I thought we'd give a shout out and a hi to him. He got this recipe, or was inspired to write it, from his visits to Rome.
Oh, is that where this type of thing originated?
A lot of the recipes I find and people talking about them is Italian stuff. So
Okay, cool.
they've got this figured out. He's got a recipe here where you mix together ricotta cheese, Romano cheese, and mozzarella cheese, an egg, salt and pepper, and some garlic.
What is Romano cheese? I don't think I'm familiar with that.
So it sounds like it's like a type of Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to sub with Parmesan.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like a hard, long-cured cheese, it sounds
Okay.
like. I think you can get like Parmesano Romano and Parmesano Reggiano and Parmesano
yes.
blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
I think
Okay, I get it.
if all my great Italian is helping you out there.
I just want you to say all the Italian words. That's all I'm here for. Because I can't say them either.
So all those cheeses and yummy stuff you're going to put into like a piping bag, and you're going to fill up each little blossom. I'm going to say maybe a tablespoon or so. You don't want a ton of cheese in here. It's not a huge, gigantic thing. And then we're going to make a really thin batter with eggs, milk, flour, more Parmesan cheese, and some like basil or parsley. And you're going to dip that filled flour into your batter, and then you're going to fry it in oil until it's crispy. And then voila, you may serve.
This sounds delicious.
Yes.
I'm super excited about this. So the batter that he has flour in it. I would like to try making some gluten-free ones. I'm going to make two types of batter. I'm going to make one with the flour. I'm going to make the other one with cornstarch and see how that differs, because it sounds like any frying batter you can make with cornstarch or flour interchangeably, 1-to-1. So I'm going to make half of them with flour, half of them with cornstarch, and hopefully compare the two and see what we like better.
I would imagine the cornstarch one would be nice and crispy.
Crispy.
I think it's going to be crispier. So I'm
I know. I'm curious, how many blossoms do you have in your garden?
I don't know. They're all hidden beneath the greenery. This recipe says 12 to 15 zucchini blossoms for this.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully I can make 6 of each. Something that I read online was that you should try and use the male flowers, because if you pluck off the female flowers, you don't get zucchinis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's fairly easy to tell the difference between the two. I will take a photo of this when I do my harvesting, as I crawl into the jungle that is my zucchini plant.
It really is a jungle in
I can just see
Erin's
her
backyard.
crawling on her hands and knees through the plants.
And I go, it's unreal right now back there.
That's great.
Can't even describe to you.
I remember Erin going on a camping trip or some trip, and I went in to water her plants. And the next time I went in, I took my husband, because I'm like, oh my God, it's a freaking jungle. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So we both tackled your gorgeous garden.
It's a bit overwhelming.
No, it's
We've had
very cool.
so much heat, and as long as you water, things grow. And we've just been lucky the last couple years of having awesome crops.
Well, lucky for us, you have a great garden, because we can eat zucchini flowers.
Yeah. I have a question about these stuffed zucchini flowers or
Stuffed zucchini blossoms.
blossoms. So zucchini blossoms can be quite large, right? So do you use the entire thing for one of these recipes?
So I think you want to pick them about hand size.
Okay.
I believe it sort of looks like you want them not to be fully open,
Okay.
so that you can put your filling in and then just kind of dip it,
Yeah.
fry it.
Interesting.
It's an appetizer, right? So you don't want a giant big thing you have to eat with a knife and a fork.
Right.
All right. So
This
your
is
invitations are in the mail.
What are they going to come on? Like horseshoes or like I guess it's not a horseshoe. So what would they come on? Like a flower, a pressed
I'm
flower?
going to inscribe your
pressed leaf.
invitation on a zucchini.
Oh, a zucchini itself.
A zucchini itself. And then I'm just going to...
But then we'll cook it up and then we'll forget like what
The
she
details?
wrote on it.
See? Oh, dang.
A perishable invitation.
This invitation will self-destruct in your pan.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, very cool.
Oh,
right.
I have one more question.
Oh, ask away.
I'm not sure if you even know, but are zucchini blossoms something you can buy? Like you don't see them at the store.
They say that you cannot buy them at like an Italian market. So I haven't sourced to look, but maybe at Lena's or Il Chianti's got that Italian
And I
market
take it they'll
next to
be
it.
seasonal.
Yeah.
Maybe the farmer's market.
Honestly, if you know someone who has a zucchini plant, you'll probably have enough zucchini blossoms to go hog wild with, because they're anything like mine. They're super prolific and they just go nuts.
So this is a good one for people to remember for next season, because by the time this episode comes out, it will be past kind of zucchini blossom season. But it's a good one to have in mind and keep kind of plan ahead for.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if you should even bother. See?
Yeah. Let's do that first.
We'll do all the legwork so that come spring, you'll know you want to plant zucchini, because they're pretty easy to grow in any garden bed. All you need is the seeds. Plant them, they sprout, water them, and then they go wild. And
Sounds delicious.
Can't wait.
Grazie.
Ciao, Bella.
Oh boy.
You're supposed to say that in Italian. Oh boy.
Mamma mia.
Today's episode is brought to you by The Pulse. Want to start your day informed? Check out The Pulse, Taproot's daily news briefing.
The Pulse tells you what you need to know about Edmonton every weekday morning. You'll get short, informative updates about what's happening at City Hall, plus coverage of business, tech, food, the arts, and more.
You'll also get a little bit of whimsy from features such as A Moment in History and the weekly podcast pick. And it's free. Sign up today at taprootedmonton.ca/pulse. That's taprootedmonton.ca/pulse.
All right. Well, friends, welcome back to Stuffed Zucchini Blossoms. I have to say that this was a delightful little evening that we had.
It was.
Hanging out in your backyard, under the apple trees, next to the trampoline.
Nice weather.
The ambiance was all there, you know.
We had
Actually,
a
a lot of places to take nice pictures.
Well, that's good. Yeah. It was nice doing it. I felt horribly disorganized, but we got through it.
But Heather and I sat there. Erin was like running around getting stuff done. Heather and I just sat there and chatted.
Waited for her
drinks.
to serve us.
There you go. I was just kind of a chicken with my head cut off that night. I was not well organized for this. However,
Somehow you made
it all
work.
came together.
It came together for sure.
So I found quite a few zucchini blossoms in my zucchini plant, but not as many as I sort of thought there might be. But I got both the male flowers and the female flowers, and you can tell the difference. The female flowers have little tiny zucchinis that are starting to grow underneath them, whereas the male flower is just on a stem.
They're smaller than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they're kind of bite-sized.
Yeah, because I think usually I didn't grow zucchini this year, but I always picture them open.
Yes.
And they're quite large.
Yeah, but these were like closed and small.
Yeah, exactly. Using our recipe from Chef Dennis here, I used the ricotta cheese. I substituted Parmesan for the Romano cheese, and then mozzarella, an egg, salt and pepper, and some powdered garlic. And so just mix that all together. It was really easy. Just popped it in a piping bag. And then I made two different types of batter. And so I just kind of halved the recipe that he has here. I made one batter with the flour and one with the cornstarch. And I successfully made it so that I knew which was which by the end of this. They both looked almost identical. So it was really hard to try and remember who's who, but we got there. And so on the side burner of the barbecue, I was able to heat up my Dutch oven with, what do you think? Like half an inch of oil in the bottom of it?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
I would even say I could have gone less, maybe, and just more pan fried it, but this gave it a little more of a deep fry. And so I used my piping bag to just fill up each little flower and dipped it in the batter and then tossed it in the hot oil and fried it up and served it up. And that is really all there is to say about the method of making it.
That. It's very simple, really.
It was really simple. This is the first recipe that I've chewed off this year, and so it's always a little bit of like a panic when you get in the kitchen. You're like, oh my god, how do I do this again? But it was pretty easy.
Nice.
Yeah. Good way to start.
And we enjoyed it all together.
Yes.
So I mean,
yes, that's nice too.
Honestly, I think it didn't matter what I made. Well, maybe a bit, but
no, not really. We were just happy
we just got to hang out.
I know. But we were lucky because it was fancy and like something we'd never eaten before.
Something different to do if you're going to get together and have this. You wouldn't want to make a huge batch of it because I don't think it would hold up. But even if you made this and then like popped it in your oven or your toaster oven and like just warmed it up and got it crisp when you went to serve people, I think this would have held up fine as like a fancy appetizer.
Very fancy. I think it would be kind of cool going somewhere, someone's house, and this is what they served you, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's cheese in a flower. How cool is that?
It is cool. How often do you eat flowers, really?
Yeah.
Except as like a garnish on something, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about what we thought of it?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Please.
I am.
We didn't really talk about, like, we all kind of commented about it, but we try our best not to like give our full breakdown until we record so that it's, you're getting our honest opinion. So I may not have gotten your honest opinion that night. So please throw it my way.
It was hard not to I think we talked more about it than maybe we planned on talking about it in advance, but
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cool that the flower, like you almost think a flower petal would like disintegrate or something. Like it seems so fragile that when you put it in the heat, what's it going to do? But the batter was, even though it was kind of thin, it was enough to just like coat it. And it kept its shape, and you could still tell that it was like this blossom. And I just thought it was really cool how it acted, like it kept its shape and the filling stayed inside. I think there was only one that kind of leaked out a little bit.
It was very pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful and tasty.
And it wasn't an overpowering taste. Like it was just very like subtle.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure like what, like sometimes we've eaten flowers like the nasturtiums that we've snacked on, and like it's a very strong flavor, and I was like, oh, is this going to be like a really intense like zucchini or flowery kind of flavor? But I thought it was like nice and mild and balanced, and
even the little stem parts were mild.
So my favorite were definitely the female ones, because then you got the little extra zucchini at the end. And then very pretty, as Heather said. I think these are awesome to serve up to someone. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll travel well. But as you said, you could crisp it up in someone's oven, or I don't know how that would be, but I think it was so cool. The cornstarch one was crispier. That's what we found. And the all-purpose flour one was tastier.
Yeah.
So I would go with the tastier almost, because the crisp kind of goes away after a while. Right?
Yeah.
I thought it was, just do the flour.
Yeah. If you can eat the gluten, the gluten tastes good.
Yeah, it does. But the other ones tasted great too. The cornstarch ones were really good. So just because
they just didn't have as much flavor for for whatever reason. And I thought, I wasn't sure what that was going to be like. But it was nice knowing you could do it both ways.
Yeah, it's good to have an alternate. It's nice when you can actually find something that works.
Yeah, I really liked making it with the little zucchinis.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who grows zucchinis knows that you always have more than enough zucchinis. It's not like you're, oh no, am I going to get enough zucchinis off my plant? Like it's always like I have too many zucchinis. So harvesting them when they're like little and they've got the flower on it still, you're still getting that zucchini and the flower and then the little extra. Yeah, I liked those ones a lot too. I would agree.
Yeah,
Well,
it's really cool.
that's one for the books. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you, muchos.
Muchos. I'm sorry that it was felt hectic for you because it was very relaxing and lovely for us to just
and perfect weather too. I took my blanket to put over me and I didn't even use it.
Yeah, it
we
was
were
a
having
nice
a drink.
night.
We were.
Guess what else we had with our delicious stuffed flower?
Yeah, we also kicked off our speakeasy with a delicious sparkling tarragon lemonade with gin.
With tarragon from Erin's garden. So it was like the whole garden experience. She was running into the garden, picking tarragon to put into the lemonade as I was doing terrible lounging
while we were doing this.
So tune in. Yeah.
She kept coming up to us and apologizing and saying, I'm sorry. And we're just like sipping on this delicious drink. And we're like, yeah, take your time. We've got nowhere to go. Nobody's getting up to help her. We're just drinking.
We're like, our kids aren't here. No, we did offer to help.
We did offer her, but we were hoping she would say what she said, which was no. Okay, let's not even pretend that wasn't the case.
Yeah, so if you're looking for something tasty out of your garden, or you just have some tarragon or you want a delicious drink, or
got some gin in your cabinet, go check it out.
Check out our Speakeasy episode.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Okay. Ciao, ladies.
See you next time. And now for the fine print. Join us over on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, and on our website at threekitchenspodcast.com. And remember, when you like, follow, subscribe, and review, it helps more people find us. Thank you so much for listening. Mamma mia!